the best part about it is that they're just going about handling their business. I was listening to Arvell Reese and his literally like 5-word sentences about himself and some of the things that Caleb has been talking about. The dudes are just so locked in here about just doing their job and not worrying about all the other things and awards. They know all those happen when you go win and you win decisively.
The Bobby Carpenter Show, only on SportsGrid.
Baker Mayfield is the most important player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are in first place right now, looking dead in the eye of home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They played a bad division. They're going to win a lot of games, and they're the best fourth quarter team, or at least the 2-minute warning team in all football. So, don't sleep on that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Awesome and monumentous win against Oregon. Texas has saved their season. Texas has given themselves life to potentially crash the college football playoff party. For OU, a loss to Texas shouldn't be the end of your season. And yet with that remaining schedule, it feels like it could be. Books certainly pricing it that way. A lot of movement off of the Red River rivalry.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Paige or Caitlin? Who do you take and why?
I think for the WNBA, in a sense where they're moving toward more guards when it's been very post and big heavy in the past. But there's a reason why Caitlin Clark set all those records at college and then went into the WNBA and set all those records immediately. I really do think she's just a different level talent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson here. As always, got a great show for you today. And I got to be totally straight with you. I was in a fantastic mood. I got my Dunkin' Donuts hot chocolate, the best, frankly, hot chocolate that money can buy. That's good. Had a salt bagel with cream cheese from the bagel store across the street. That's good. Hair shaven, face clean, doing Fox weather later today, rocking the Vineyard Vines, having a great day. And then it went south. And it went south literally like 7 minutes ago when I saw for the first time, thank you to Darren Ravel, the Cooper Flag first ever sneaker release. First off, nothing against New Balance, but if you're doing a deal with New Balance for your NBA kick, that just means that Nike didn't want you, Under Armour didn't want you, and Adidas was like, we're sticking to soccer. No, again, no disrespect to New Balance. I've got a pair of New Balance kicks to walk with, all right? But Cooper Flag, who's the great white hope in the NBA, and looks like he's got the game to back it up, just released this piece of garbage as his first ever sneaker release as an NBA star. Now, obviously at Duke, they wear Nikes, all right? Yeah. That's a Duke deal, fine. But and I know it's a big check. I'm sure it's a 7 or 8 figure check. I get that. But you're telling me that the first ever Cooper Flag sneaker as a member of the NBA is a sneaker that my dead grandfather wore when he walked the malls in Sarasota, Florida?
Yeah, that's right.
Did we learn nothing from the second Steph Curry sneaker at Under Armour when you don't go white on white?
Yeah, the isotomers that he had on. Yeah,
like,
as a sneaker guy, this looks like a miss for me, and it costs $120.
It's a terrible miss. First of all, New Balance sneakers should never cost more than $50. That's number one, right?
Yeah.
Number two, put it up again, guys. There's no design.
None at all.
There's nothing cool about it. There's nothing hip about it. There's nothing about that sneaker that says to me or to my children who range in age from 14 to 24, hey, Dad, I got to get a new pair of the Cooper Flag kicks.
The Hezzy lows.
Number one, they look dirty, number one. Number two, they're New Balance, and no one looks cool wearing New Balance sneakers, sadly to say. And number three, that's a grandpa's shoe. The thing about it, though, that's not unique to Cooper Flag, that's a trend now in the NBA that I honest to God do not understand, is why virtually every dude in the NBA today only wears low sneakers.
Yeah.
Like there was a day, past pro kids when we got into the Nike era of basketball, where everyone out there, I don't care if you played high school ball, college ball, or pro ball, you wore high tops.
Of course.
Because it protects your ankles. And you wonder why there's so many ankle injuries now in the NBA, because they're all wearing low tops, which doesn't support the ankle, which is another story for another day. But as a sneakerhead, and Tyrone is one too, I am very disappointed.
It's a disappointing show.
But think about it, like, I hate to put it this way, it's another knock towards my people. It's like, that's what it is. That's what it is.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
It kind of is.
Not kind of is. I own it. Listen, he's supposed to be the poster child that talented white kids in the suburbs might make it to the NBA one day.
Absolutely. For the next 10 years, he's the guy.
He's our generation's Larry Bird.
Absolutely.
At least on paper. He obviously is
still gotta
years
go
away
hoop. Right, gotta
from
go hoop,
becoming Larry Bird. But he's the guy, right?
He's the guy.
Like, I'm trying to think, like, Jason Williams, White Chocolate, never would have put out such a whack sneaker.
No way.
Never would have happened, right?
You wouldn't have had
the European dudes never would have put out a whack sneaker.
No
when
way.
When I first saw it, I swear to you, and it knocked me for a loop today, because I'm in a great mood. And then one of the producers was like, yo, did you see Cooper Flagg's new sneaker? I'm like, no, I haven't. I didn't know he had a New Balance still. That's fine. But I'm like, that required no thought.
No.
That was like New Balance said, hey, we still have leftovers from 1988 when old men were wearing those sneakers to the malls, just walking around killing time, doing the old old man shuffle. But like when they said when they did the unboxing for Cooper Flagg, Coop, here's the deal. I know the money's more important than anything, but we want to show you what our design teams have come up with for your first ever sneaker. And they opened the box on that. You think he was like, yeah, you captured everything I wanted in a sneaker. And I'm so depressed over this. Like, to me, the Jordan 3, for me, is the greatest sneaker of all time. I'm a Jordan guy. I'm a Nike guy. Even though I have a wide foot and they're very narrow, so they're not always the most comfortable sneaker, I'm a Nike dude, true and true. And I think the Jordan 3s are the greatest sneaker ever made design-wise, right? They're a heavy sneaker.
Yeah, I have 6 pairs of 3s.
Look, so there you go.
Yeah.
You're with me on that.
Yeah.
I know some people like the 4. I'm not a 4
guy. The 4
guy.
is nice. The 4 is very close to the 3.
Nice,
It's
but it
very
ain't
similar.
the 3. I'm a Jordan 3 guy. Have them in damn near every color of the stripe, whatever they got. But this, to me, is malfeasance.
Yeah, you can't do
This,
that.
to me, is like a class action lawsuit. This, to me, is I'm not wearing that sneaker in an NBA game. I'm damn sure not going to Foot Locker to buy it. Like, how many kids you think right now are like, oh, if I could only get the Cooper Flagg New Balance 1 for Christmas this year, I'd be the happiest kid in town. Like,
you can't. They're going to buy another pair of Jordans.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do. Like, I like Cooper, but can I just get another pair of Jordans?
Exactly.
Like, you put me in a bind here.
I'll buy a shirt. I'll buy a poster for the wall.
Jersey.
I'll buy his jersey.
If you like, the Mavs.
Yeah, I'll go to
on.
Fanatics and maybe get lucky at some of his playing cards, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I am not rocking the Cooper Flagg New Balances, and certainly not for $120.
$120 is...
That's an old man's mall wearing sneakers. All that is right there. So that's how my day gets started off. I'm in a great mood, and then I started thinking because, as you know, I'm a very sensitive guy. I feel for other people. I have empathy for other people.
I didn't know that.
Despite what I read about myself on Twitter all day yesterday, with the millions of views we got on the Kansas City Chiefs cheating scandal, which we're not going to do again today. We made our point of it yesterday, and all the other things out there, and I started feeling bad.
All right.
And we'll get into this over the course of a couple segments here. I started feeling bad for 3 teams in particular that are winning teams right now. 3 teams that, as of this moment in time, are guaranteed locks to be in the playoffs. So I'm a Jet fan. I'm 0-6. I'm trying to find other teams to have interest in because my team has already pooped the bed and they're done for the year. And I'm trying to figure out, I'll leave it to 2 for now so it's easier to digest. Of these 2 teams, both of whom right now are in a virtual tie or in first place all by themselves, which team do you think we should have more concern for in the moment? And the 2 teams I've got are the Buffalo Bills, who've now lost back-to-back games. All right, one of those games, of course, to the New England Patriots. The last one just to the Atlanta Falcons on Monday night. they're in first. Well, New England's essentially in first place because they beat them.
Head-to-head,
but
yeah.
the Bills have, they're 4-2, right?
Yep.
And then the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles also are in first place. They're in first place for real by themselves, but they've also lost back-to-back games, and there's starting to be a little chinks in the armor. And we'll get into it next segment. They're both playoff teams. They both legitimately have Super Bowl aspirations, and that's real. It's tangible. Eagles, of course, coming off the Super Bowl win. Bills always, like the bridesmaid, never the bride, but good enough quarterback-wise to make a run, right? And between those two teams, I think we'd all agree there are legitimate concerns now. On the Bills side, who is Josh Allen possibly going to turn to help him out? Obviously, you talk about the running game and Cook. He has not been great lately. He's probably the obvious answer. But from a wide receiver standpoint, I don't think there's an obvious answer. And then on the Philly side, the offense is broken. They got the same dudes playing that played last year when they were setting some records offensively, most notably on the ground with Saquon Barkley. But they feel like a fractured team right now. And between the two of them, and I'll be fair, we shouldn't feel bad for either one of them. The Bills have won like 9 consecutive AFC East titles, and they're locked to have at least one home playoff game. And on the flip side, the Eagles just won a Super Bowl. They're both really good teams, have Super Bowl aspirations, but they're both going the wrong way. They've both now lost back-to-back games, and they've brought, at least in the AFC East, they've brought New England into the picture, nobody else. And in the NFC East, they've brought everybody back into the picture because of their loss to the Giants. Of the two teams, and we'll get into it next, which one of the teams do you think should be most concerned about the rest of the season? And I've got an answer, so does Tyrone. I would have tons of fun stuff for you here on a Thursday with a football game tonight, right here on The Carton Show.
Well, the best part about it is that they're just going about handling their business. I was listening to Arvell Reese and his literally like 5-word sentences about himself and some of the things that Caleb has been talking about. The dudes are just so locked in here about just doing their job and not worrying about all the other things and awards. They know all those happen when you go win and you win decisively.
The Bobby Carpenter Show, only on SportsGrid.
Baker Mayfield is the most important player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are in first place right now, looking dead in the eye of home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They played a bad division. They're going to win a lot of games, and they're the best fourth quarter team, or at least the 2-minute warning team in all football. So, don't sleep on that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Awesome and monumentous win against Oregon. Texas has saved their season. Texas has given themselves life to potentially crash the college football playoff party. For OU, a loss to Texas shouldn't be the end of your season. And yet with that remaining schedule, it feels like it could be. Books certainly pricing it that way. A lot of movement off of the Red River rivalry.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Paige or Caitlin? Who do you take and why?
I think for the WNBA, in a sense where they're moving toward more guards when it's been very post and big heavy in the past. But there's a reason why Caitlin Clark set all those records at college and then went into the WNBA and set all those records immediately. I really do think she's just a different level talent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you here. Yes, it happened last night. I know you've all seen the videos of it, but Angel Reese finally did something that we all approve of. She walked down the Victoria's Secret fashion show runway.
She did?
Yeah, looked good.
Looked good.
I'm saying she looked good. She looked good. She's actually better at walking in lingerie than she is at making layups in a WNBA game. She may have found her calling. I don't know why she was so, she had resting kind of angry face going on. She never smiled once during her Angel premiere.
I believe that. I believe she was told to do that because there was a mix of women who did that.
Is that the deal?
Yes, that's kind of the deal.
Yeah,
that's the deal.
It's like
Now she look good. Tall girl. Yeah,
she's very
tall girl.
That's what you took out of it.
Tall. She's in the heels, so it was a nice silhouette.
She's taller than most of the anorexic models.
It was a nice silhouette.
It was an interesting kind of dichotomy between she's very tall. Some of the models aren't as tall. Most models though are taller than the average gal.
Yeah, not her tall, but tall.
Right.
For
they're not
society.
6 foot, but they're like a good 5'9", 5'10". And then so it's real. Victoria's Secret is still trying to appease everybody.
Because everybody buys draws. Everybody buys draws.
Thin girls.
Buy draws.
Heavy-set girls.
Buy draws.
Small girls.
Buy draws.
Tall girls.
Buy draws.
Wide girls.
Buy draws.
Anorexic girls.
They buy draws.
Big boobie girls.
Buy draws.
Smaller boobed girls.
Buy draws. They all buy draws. So that's why they got to do it.
Anyhow, so I don't know.
But
I'll say this. I'm more interested in her doing that than I do her playing basketball.
You've been on the record very clearly with that. She did that well. But hold on, before you get back to the sport,
I
know somebody had to impress you.
Of all the women? Yeah, my wife.
Well,
my wife. I tell my wife all the time, she is a Victoria's Secret model. Yes, and I told her last night. She goes, "You want to watch it?" I go, "I watch it all day."
So I'm to believe.
I don't have to turn on the television to see a Victoria's Secret model. I just go home and say, "Honey, what did you make me for lunch?"
You watched that whole show.
That's all I do.
And the only one you noticed was Angel Reese. You didn't notice anybody else?
I don't know. I don't even see it. I didn't even know it was on.
All right.
I will say this. One of the great programming decisions in the history of network television was, and it usually happened a little bit later on in the fall, closer to Christmas. CBS used to do this, and I used to always tell the CBS executives when my show was simulcast on CBS Sports that I to this day, it is the single greatest programming decision any network has ever made. And we grew up in an era where Friday nights were Love Boat into Miami Vice, right? Into Fantasy Island, that kind of run, right?
Yeah.
Which was brilliant. This is better. Right around Christmas, what they used to do on CBS, at 9 o'clock, they would have the Victoria's Secret model show.
Yeah, I remember when it first premiered.
Okay, and then right after it, they would have some type of like Snoopy or Peanuts Christmas.
Yeah.
And it was this, or maybe it was reverse of that, but it was back to back. It was like a Peanuts Christmas right into Victoria's Secret. And it was like genius because we got to watch the Christmas stuff with the kids.
Right.
And then dads are like, when is this thing over?
Well, don't worry.
As soon as it's over, you get naked girls on television.
That's right.
Which is what made guys sit on the couch with their kids to watch Peanuts Christmas because they were waiting for Victoria's Secret.
Everybody wins.
There you go.
Everybody wins.
It'd be like a Snoopy Christmas followed by Victoria's Secret. I don't know, that was a big programming thing. All right, so back to football just for a second, if we can, right? So you've got the Bills. They've lost 2 in a row.
Yep.
You've got the Eagles. They've lost 2 in a row.
Yep.
Between those 2 franchises, which team are you most concerned about? And I'll go first on this. The team I'm most concerned about are the Philadelphia Eagles for a couple of reasons. Number one, the NFC East is a much more difficult division than the AFC East, although I give New England a lot of props and credit. They're good enough to win that division now and make a run into the playoffs. Very well coached, and they've got what looks like a legitimate quarterback in Drake May. In the NFC East, you've now got, obviously, the Jaden Daniels Commodores, right? You've got the Giants who just beat the Eagles last week. And although I don't think the Giants are a real competitor yet, they're feeling pretty good about themselves.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there you go. And you've got the Dallas Cowboys that we'll get to later in the show are in the middle of wasting a great year by Dak Prescott, who's one of the best quarterbacks in football statistically right now. But they're good enough to score 30 points every week, meaning they're good enough to make a run and maybe steal the division. So if you're concerned about one of the other Bills or Eagles, I think the larger concern has to be for Philly. Like the Philadelphia Eagle offense isn't right now. It's broken. And I don't know if you want to just blame the offensive coordinator. I know a lot of people just want to blame Jalen Hurts. The offensive line isn't blocking as well. He's been sacked more 5 weeks into the year than at any other year of his career thus far. So this vaunted offensive line is not getting the job done. for whatever the reasons are, Saquon Barkley, only averaging about 50 yards a game right now, and he's going to have the single biggest drop year to year from a rushing yard standpoint in the NFL, the history of the NFL. And no one ever thought Nick Sirianni was really all that good anyway. So I think there's more warts right now with Philadelphia. In Buffalo, I think the reality is they've lost to two good teams. Right? The Atlanta Falcons turn out they are a good football team. And the New England Patriots right now are a good football team, right? They don't look as lost right now as the Eagles do. So my concern level for the Eagles is higher than it is for the Bills.
Well, for me, it's clearly the Bills because I have no proof that the Bills are any good. I have proof the Eagles are good because they beat the Cowboys, they beat the Chiefs on the road, they beat the Rams, and they beat the Bucs on the road. The Bucs
so three
only
playoff
lost.
Teams. Yep.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they beat the Ravens who stink, the Jets who stink, the Dolphins who stink, and the Saints who stink.
Yep.
And then they lost to good teams. Therefore, for me, it's more about who you beat. Because the NFL, every bad team, even the Jets, are going to win. I believe they're going to win a game.
I hope they don't, but
I know you
probably
hope
at some point.
I think they probably will.
A single game.
But for me, I look at who you beat. And most people
that's
right
fair.
now,
I can't argue that.
They think the Bucs are the best team.
We did it on Monday. The Buffalo Bills have feasted on really bad football teams. Not like average teams. They beat teams that combined have, I think, 2 wins or 3 wins all year long, right? In their 4-2 record. You're right. The Ravens have 1 win. The Dolphins have 1 win. The Jets don't have any wins. And the Saints, I think, have 1.
1 win.
Right. So combined, the 4 teams they've beaten have 3 wins combined going into week 7 of the NFL. That's a fair point. Let's see what the Bills are when they start playing better teams week after week after week. I just look at them and I feel like Josh Allen's going to figure it out. They'll be fine. And when I look at Philly, I feel that way, but that doesn't pass the eye test. When you look at both teams, the Eagles just don't look right yet. And the Bills have looked right, but albeit against bad teams. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the week as well, right here on The Carton Show. Don't touch it.
Let's do A.J. Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade A.J. Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he played last year. He won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books, and he's blah, blah, blah. He's complaining this year, too. And he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards. And then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley, even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could go compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like A.J. Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason. I think they're going to move him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Don't forget to check us out on podcasts, YouTube as well, Apple, Spotify. And I think tomorrow we're opening up an email that will allow you to contact the show directly and ask questions of me and Tyrone, or whether it's sports questions, life questions, Matter of fact, it is right there. Look at questions@CraigCartonShow.com. So if you email that, we'll get that directly, and we'll pick 4 or 5 maybe on Fridays or something like that.
That's a good idea.
And read off the questions and do our best to answer them. I know already, and by the way, I already know the first half a dozen questions. All right? I already know you can't. I know exactly what you're going to do. It's not my first time at the rodeo. So if you want to just get it out of your system now, get it out of your system. Yes, I went to graduate school for a year in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. All good. You can ask me about it. You can remind me about it. Whatever you got to do that makes you happy about yourselves. But I'm living rent-free in your head. So once we get through the first couple waves of it, then we'll get to the real questions. But no joke, nothing's off limits. Ask us anything you want. Say whatever you want. Questions@CraigCartonShow.com. I want to get into something real quick. Tua yesterday down in Miami held a press conference in which he had to apologize, or was told to apologize, for his comments after another Dolphin loss this weekend. And I'll just set the stage from why he apologized, and then we'll play it for you. He had a press conference in which he basically outed everyone on the team that during player-only meetings, guys either didn't show up at all to them or were late to them.
Yep.
And we did this last couple days ago where, that was not a knock on Mike McDaniel. That's a direct affront to him.
Yep.
That means that guys on the team don't respect him. And he's supposed to be the leader of the team as the highest paid player and the quarterback. If you're calling a players-only meeting and dudes aren't showing up or are showing up late, it's disrespectful to you, meaning Tua lost the locker room. Here's his apology for what he said, and then we'll get into it.
As a leader of this team, of the Miami Dolphins, the comments that had been said, I would say I've made a mistake, and I'm owning up to that right now. The intent was right, but no matter the intent, the intent can be right, but when things get misconstrued or however the media wants to portray it, that leaves a void of silence and a lot of
You can
questions
cut it right
for the
there.
fans.
First off, there's nothing misconstrued by the media on this one. You came out and said guys are not showing up or are showing up late for players-only meetings. That's a direct quote from you. We didn't take that quote and spin it. We reacted to the exact quote. So let's not blame the media on this one. But here's my take on this. Tua didn't owe a single person an apology. You're shooting the messenger here. The people that should be apologizing to Tua and to the Dolphin fan base and to the Dolphin front office are the players that he's talking about. The fact that he kind of showed us what was going on behind the curtain, you could find that objectionable because what happens in the locker room in theory is supposed to stay in the locker room, and I'm respectful of that. But you can't be mad at Tua, nor should you demand that Tua apologize when he ain't the guy missing meetings. He's not the guy showing up late for meetings. He exposed those guys. So I understand if the team collectively has a problem with Tua because he's a rat or because he told family business publicly. I understand that dynamic and that relationship. But Tua doesn't owe anyone an apology. Number one, he didn't call out any player by name.
Did not.
He didn't say this guy was late. That guy didn't show up at all. He said collectively, we have a problem if teammates don't show up to a players-only meeting. It's also not a knock on Mike McDaniel. He doesn't control or call players-only meetings. The captains of the team do. Tua did. In this case, he's one of the captains of the team. But we do this all the time. The guy comes out and says something, and he's right to feel the way he feels. The reason the Dolphins are a rudderless ship is that there's no accountability in the locker room, and certainly none from the head coach, who appears to be dead man walking right now. But how about the guys that don't show up for the players-only meeting, the guys that show up late? There's a reason Jalen Ramsey is no longer a member of the Dolphins. He was one of those dudes when he was there that blew off meetings and showed up late to meetings. Tyreek Hill's another guy that doesn't attend meetings on time, and they allowed it to go on. So I don't know why Tua's apologizing for telling us what's going on. The people that should be apologizing to the hardworking fans that attend Dolphins games, that spend their money on the Dolphins tickets and drinks and food and want to enjoy a little football on a Sunday, the players that don't take it seriously, that aren't professional, that don't attend these meetings, either on time or at all, those are the men that should be standing up behind a microphone apologizing. And it kills me that Tua felt the need to apologize because he's lost the locker room. And he's desperately now trying to get it back. Screw that. Tua did nothing wrong in this particular case. The players that no-showed him did everything wrong. We're yelling at the wrong guy.
You're looking at Joe Burrow being the guy that I was in on the beginning of the year. Clearly, that is no longer an option. So where are we looking on this board? And I keep landing on the same thing, which is, Baker Mayfield's been kind of the story this year. Think about this. He's plus 950 for MVP. They look like right now one of the, if not the most formidable team in the NFC.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Great quarterback, the best quarterback in football. But when you play a 60-minute game of football on national TV and the referees do not call a single penalty against you when you committed 13 penalties the week before in a nationally televised loss, I'm sorry, but the jig is up.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
I apologize to our fans. We need to do better. That's all you need to say, Scott, right? But Tua goes out there, my kids love me. I'm rich. I don't care. You got your dumbass coach coming out here, and we play to win. You got to win the game, and you got to win. And, the Dolphins press conferences make it way worse. If I was a Dolphin fan, I just want to punch these guys in the face.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson here as well. We got tons more coming your way. And a reminder, you can always email the show directly. questions@CraigCartonShow.com. I was thinking about the Dallas Cowboys. It's kind of a thing like when you work at FS1, they beat into your head that you have to talk about the Dallas Cowboys at least once a show, if not every single segment, which never made sense to me. But yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Check cashes, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And so I'm trying to rid that out of my system, but I'm going to fall prey to it today. Not because anyone's telling me to do it, because the good thing about this podcast is I don't have any bosses anymore. Right. So I really can do anything I want content-wise, and the check still clears, which is awesome. It's
incredible.
But I was thinking about the Dallas Cowboys from this standpoint, right? So the Cowboys open up against the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And they lose that game 24-20. So that's a one-score game. They lose by 4 points, right? Then from there, they beat the Giants in overtime, but they give up 37 points to the Giants, all right? After that, the Bears blew them out 31-14. So that game, put that game to the side. Then they have the 40-40 tie. Yeah. All right, against the Green Bay Packers in Dallas, okay? They beat the New York Jets all good, and then they lose by a field goal. They give up 30 points to the Carolina Panthers, all right? So let's focus on those three games. They give up 30 in a 3-point loss to Carolina. They tie the Packers, and they give up 40, and they lose to the Eagles in week 1 by 4. So that's 0-2-1 in those three games by a combined total of 7 points. Yeah. Okay? Imagine what the Dallas Cowboys might have done in those three games. One was a tie, one they lost by 4, one they lose by 3. Oh, I don't know. If they had a really great defensive player who could get to the opposing quarterback better than most guys at his stage of the game.
Yes.
Let's just pretend they had a guy, I don't know. Let's pretend I'm going to make up a name here. Let's say they had a guy named Flyka Flarsons.
Oh.
Let's just pretend.
That sounds like a football player
and by
there.
the way, I was in favor of the trade when they made it because if you demand to be traded, I will trade you. I got 2 first-round picks back and a Pro Bowl defensive lineman who's unfortunately been hurt thus far this year. But at least I got something to value back, right?
Okay.
So I'm not going to be a revisionist historian. I supported the trade when they made it.
Yeah.
Every now and then you got to look at your own decisions in life and go, maybe I got that one wrong.
Yeah.
In the moment, I think it's okay for me to say, maybe I got that one wrong. Because an argument should be made, not even could be made, should be made that Micah Parsons, in at least one of those 3 games, probably gets you the W.
Well, at least the Packers.
Is that fair?
Yeah, you played the Packers head-to-head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can at least get that one.
And again, he only had 1 sack very, very late in that game, and he wasn't great in that game. But yes, he played in that game. The Packers gave up 40 points, so I wouldn't be running home telling my mom about it.
Right.
But yes, it was a tie game. I do think an argument could be made that if Micah Parsons was on the Dallas Cowboys and obviously healthy, and there's been some question about that with his neck issue, would they have beaten the Eagles? Maybe.
Maybe.
Would they have beaten the Packers? I say with you, yes. 100%. They would have held them to 37 points.
That's all you
not
needed.
40.
That's all you
and
needed.
they would have won that game, okay? Would they have beaten the Panthers? Again, I'm going to say yes to that. So I supported the trade when they made it. And I know we're only 6 weeks in to the NFL season. In the moment, because that's all we got. In the moment, would it be fair for me to say that the Micah Parsons trade might have been the worst trade the Dallas Cowboys have ever made since Herschel Walker?
Yes.
Is that possible?
It's very possible.
Because they're sitting in a spot right now with a beatable Eagles team and a 500 Washington team as the class of the NFC East. And I'm looking at the Cowboys going, there ain't nothing wrong with that offense.
Nothing.
And that's without CeeDee Lamb for half the season thus far. But that offense is the best offense statistically in the NFC right now. I think all football. You can fact check me on that. They scored 40 points. They scored 30 points. They scored 37 points. They score. If they had Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys today would be in first place all by themselves in the NFC East. So this is one of those moments where I think you should be allowed to go to Jerry Jones and say, 6 weeks in, any regrets? Because defensively, you're one of, if not the worst team statistically in the NFC. And I think you're second only to the Baltimore Ravens in the entire NFL when it comes to points allowed.
Yep, they are.
So when you go back 6 weeks, if you could do it again, you never trade Micah Parsons. And I know you got 2 first-rounders. I know you got, I'm blocking out his name right now, defensive lineman from Green Bay. But you would be in first place, and you would be the team to beat. And when I then looked a little bit further into what was going on this year, and because their defense is so bad, because they're not in first place, because they're on the outside looking in for the moment right now, nobody's paying attention to what Dak Prescott is doing. And I want to remind you, he has not had CeeDee Lamb for half their games this year, essentially, okay? But right now, Dak Prescott, there's his numbers right there. Dak Prescott's completing more than 70% of his passes. He's 13-3 touchdowns to interceptions. He's amongst the leaders in the league in yards, and he's playing badass football.
He is.
You remember 2 years ago, he was second in MVP, right? And had one of the great statistical seasons any quarterback has had in recent memory. We are wasting prime Dak Prescott. I know there's a big debate on Dak Prescott. Is Dak top 10? You're damn right Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback. He's close to top 5 the way he's playing right now. I might even put him in my top 5 at some point this season. So on one hand, we're wasting a great offensive performance by the Cowboys offense, and most specifically by Dak Prescott, right?
Yeah.
On the other side, we are literally 1 or 2 defensive plays away in 3 of those games from winning those games. And if you do, the Cowboys could be 6-0. I know that's a stretch. So let's just say 5-1. The Cowboys could be 5-1. Like, that's on the table right now. And yet, when you look at them, they lost to the Carolina freaking Panthers. 30 points they gave up to one of the worst offenses in all of football with an Oompa Loompa playing quarterback.
And there's an additional problem by losing to Carolina. The rest of the NFL, the toughest schedule, the Dallas Cowboys have the toughest schedule left out of everybody.
So you didn't take advantage of Tyrone's point. You didn't take advantage of the teams on paper that you're supposed to beat. Yeah, if I could see, I could tell you what that says.
Well, you got Washington still there at Washington. You got at Denver still on the schedule. You have the Eagles. You have the Chiefs. You have a lot of really good football teams remaining on your schedule.
Now, the good thing that the Cowboys have going for them is that they can score against anybody. Right now, we're 6 weeks into the season. The Dallas Cowboys offense is legitimate, and CeeDee Lamb is coming back. So it should be, in theory, even better. But, man, I was thinking about it, not because it's been beaten into me, focus on the Cowboys, but it's like real to me. I'm trying to find other teams to care about because my Jets suck and we're 0-6 and it's another lost season, and I'm not sure if my coach is worthy of being an NFL head coach, right? And Aaron Glenn. But I know this. I know the Dallas Cowboys offense is legitimate. And it's just funny because if you say to Cowboy fans, what's the one thing you wish you had? If I only had a dominant defensive player that could get to the quarterback, could you imagine how good the Cowboys would be? Like, I would make this argument. If Micah Parsons is healthy and on the Dallas Cowboys, they are a Super Bowl contender, the way that offense has been playing. But when you give up 30 points to the Carolina Panthers and you give up 40 points at home to the Green Bay Packers and 31 points to the Chicago Bears, it's going to be very hard to win a division, get in as a wild card, or then do anything in the postseason when defense becomes the most important thing you got.
Yeah.
Because if you can't stop someone from scoring, you can't win a Super Bowl. If only they had a guy. If only they were able to draft a guy and have a guy on the defensive side of the ball who could get to the quarterback. You know anybody named?
I do.
Is there a guy?
Yeah, I think it's Rika Parsons. Yeah.
And tells you this, Jerry Jones ain't winning no GM of the Year award this year. I can tell you that. Coming up, it's a future YMCA football game, and it's happening tonight. We'll explain right after this.
Have you been watching Tua Tagovailoa's post-game press conferences where he basically is like, yeah, I'm getting paid, deal with it. By the way, how's the team? Nobody shows up to meetings, players-only meetings, people skip out. Nobody cares around here, and we lost again. Tua threw 3 interceptions. Yes, he's part of the problem. James Franklin got fired from Penn State, we'll talk about later. When is McDaniels getting shown the door? This team is ridiculous, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Tell the coordinators what you want. I just don't get it. I don't. These coaches are so chummy with each other that they don't want to throw their guy under the bus. You're getting paid the $10 million. He's not. Take a rein and change the game plan. Right. If it's not working and the offensive coordinator is not getting it done, you need to have input.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
You love this segment. You nicknamed this segment. You sort of put your mark on it with the rats with the cash.
There's rats.
Right? And they're the garbage games. Although one of the games...
What are you saying, rats hang out in garbage? What's wrong with
you? Yeah, they do. Hang out in New York City. You'll see it.
A lot of rats in New York City. That's the way it is, man. Hey, we don't want to throw out any names out there. Exactly.
Philly, too. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
You may be surprised, because I am, that the athlete in the world who has become the first billionaire is Cristiano Ronaldo. I did not know that, and I did not have that on my bingo card. So after his contract that he just signed, it means that he's the first athlete to ever earn $1 billion playing sports.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. You have your pick on tonight's game or no?
Yeah, I mean, I don't love the game.
No, we never force a pick on the show.
I don't love the game.
You do your 3 on Fridays. He's been red high. He's like 11-1 right now. So that'll be coming up tomorrow. But there is a game tonight. We'll get to that in a second because it's 2 dudes in their 40s playing quarterback. It's like an old-timers game.
It is.
In the NFL tonight. Joe Flacco against Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to that in a little bit. But time for some news and notes, stuff you need to know as you come back from your lunch break. You're just getting to work. You want to be the guy that's in the know. You want to be the guy who goes, hey, fellas, did you hear this story? Number one, 18 years ago today, was the premiere of a television show that is still on the air. And what's amazing about it is one of the people that was on the TV show 18 years ago was known as the greatest American athlete of all time. Today, he's known as Caitlin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So look how much things have changed in 2 decades. Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered 18 years ago today. All right. That's well before Kim Kardashian slept with half of the NBA and the rap community. And Bruce Jenner was still arguably the greatest American athlete of all time. Fast forward 18 years. Kim has now been through half the NBA. And Bruce Jenner is now Caitlyn Jenner. Wow. A lot changes over 18 years.
A lot changes. A lot changes. Also, go back and look at how, other than Kim, how all of them looked.
Yeah. Well,
and look at how they look now.
Yes. Very wealthy doctor in Beverly Hills somewhere.
Some big checks to doctors.
You're not lying about that. That's
years.
Number one. Number two, the NBA starts in just a couple days.
Tuesday.
The Knicks start Wednesday. A lot of the league starts on Tuesday. You're right about that. I was just taking a quick gander at it because no one does basketball better than us. Grizzlies, Pelicans, opening night in New Orleans, and Zion looks legit.
Yes, he does.
At least body-wise.
Oh, yeah.
He's lost a bunch of weight, and if that dude doesn't have knee problems and stays healthy, he will be the comeback player of the year and will be in the conversation for MVP. Because when he's healthy, he's that good. But I was taking a look. You could cut that and put it out. That goes viral. That's fine by me. Look, I stand by it. You guys sleep on Zion because he never plays. Rightfully so, which is why I'm surprised he's not a Sixer. But I've seen Zion look in a manner I've not seen him look physically since he was at Duke.
Yeah.
The dude has lost a lot of weight. He's doing like football workouts and karate workouts and stuff. Mm-hmm. If that dude plays, I'll give you a number to be fair, because it's rare for him to do this. If he plays 60 games or more, if he plays you got to play 65 to qualify,
yeah, so
right?
65.
So let me just make it 65.
He's done that once so far in his career.
I will say clearly so you guys can have fun with it. If Zion Williams plays 65 games or more this year, and I think he will be the comeback player of the year. He will be the league's MVP, and he will be thought of as the great next player the NBA has. Which he should be, because when Zion plays, he's unstoppable. He's one of the great Anyway, I'm not talking about him right now. You got me off on a tangent. But the reason I bring it up is that you would think that that's a high-in-demand ticket in New Orleans.
You would think.
Because Zion looks terrific. And if he's terrific, they have a chance to win, I don't know, maybe 50 games this year, 45 to 50 games in that ballpark, right? Right now, the get-in price for Memphis Grizzlies, New Orleans Pelicans, you want to take a quick guess at it?
I'm going to say $25, because you wouldn't bring it up if it was
$25 would be very low for an NBA ticket.
Right. So that's why I figured that's why you're bringing it up.
Lower, Bob.
All right, let's go $20.
Lower, Bob.
15.
15, let me check. Lower, Bob.
$10.
$10. It's almost free.
I'd go for 10. I'd fly down there to go for $10.
By the way, it'd be cheaper to fly down there on Frontier than it would be to go to the game. But no. Not.
All right, so $5.
$5. Come on,
That's
right?
free.
I mean, you get to see one of the great young basketball players healthy playing. Yeah. $4.
$4.
The get-in price for New Orleans, Memphis right now. By the way, home opener, $4.
$4.
Yeah, so let ruin that one for a minute or two. And then number 3, and it's not even a sports thing, but I just don't know what to do with it. The governor of Illinois, Governor Pritzker.
Yeah.
And this is not a political statement. It's just fascinating to me. As governor, you have to release your tax returns so that people know if you're making money, how you're making money. And most governors have to put all of their investments into a blind trust.
Yes.
All right? Governor Pritzker and his wife put out their tax return, and they said for the previous tax year, they showed an income of $10+ million. I don't know how they made $10 million with him being the governor. I don't know what his wife does. Yeah. That's not the point of the story. But part of the $10 million that he made in reported income, $1.4 million gambling. Gambling. And supposedly it was casino gambling. Now, as a former and current compulsive gambler, I've gambled in every state I've walked foot in. Right. Whether it's legal or not, I have done it. I've been to casinos in Illinois about 20 minutes away from O'Hare Airport. Okay. All right? So I know the casinos exist. I've been there. I've wagered. Usually you were capped at what you could wager. And when I did it, it was all, machines. It wasn't actually dealer blackjack, okay? But, dude, you're the governor of Illinois. Number one, how do you have time to gamble that much? Number two, if you win $1.4 million, that means you're risking a lot more than that to have that kind of win because you lose along the way also.
Absolutely.
Conservatively, I would tell you, for the governor of Illinois to make in a year's time a net profit of $1.4 million, he probably risked upwards of $20 million.
$20 million?
And that's based on life experience, okay? I wagered over $1 billion on blackjack tables in an 18-month span. I know what I'm talking about. He would have had to have risked upwards of $20+ million to walk out of a casino on multiple trips over the course of a year, $1.4 million. Plus, I was totally unaware that a governor is allowed to wager in his own state.
I didn't know that either.
Because the governor oversees the Casino Control Commission in every state. But he admitted it.
Real fast, he's worth, because of his family that includes owning the Hyatt hotels, $3.9 billion.
So he's independently wealthy.
Yes.
I didn't know nothing about
I did not know this either.
All good. But my man,
$20 million.
You should host a gambling show.
That's what he should
is
be
what
doing.
you should be doing. Because I don't know that you're all that good a governor, but you're good at one thing, playing cards. Apparently, that's crazy though.
Well, the best part about it is that they're just going about handling their business. I was listening to Arvell Reese, and is literally like 5-word sentences about himself and some of the things that Caleb has been talking about. The dudes are just so locked in here about just doing their job and not worrying about all the other things and awards. They know all those happen when you go win and you win decisively.
The Bobby Carpenter Show, only on SportsGrid.
Baker Mayfield is the most important player on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are in first place right now, looking dead in the eye of home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They played a bad division. They're going to win a lot of games, and they're the best fourth quarter team, or at least the 2-minute warning team in all football. So, don't sleep on that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Awesome and monumentous win against Oregon. Texas has saved their season. Texas has given themselves life to potentially crash the college football playoff party. For OU, a loss to Texas shouldn't be the end of your season. And yet with that remaining schedule, it feels like it could be. Books certainly pricing it that way. A lot of movement off of the Red River rivalry.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Paige or Caitlin? Who do you take and why?
I think for the WNBA, in a sense where they're moving toward more guards when it's been very post and big heavy in the past. But there's a reason why Caitlin Clark set all those records at college and then went into the WNBA and set all those records immediately. I really do think she's just a different level talent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. And by the way, what I'd love to see on Governor Pritzker, I'd love to see the report on the gambling.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, I have mine from when I was gambling, and I've not gambled in over 7 years now. But I have my reports. I can show you every hand I bet at certain casinos.
Yeah.
So, if you win $1.4 million, there's a chance, I'll just make this up, that over the course of a year, you might have lost $18.6 million and won 19 or 20 million.
Wow.
Right? So when you start seeing those numbers, you'll see how hard it is to get to a 1.4 million net. But the amount of, just total running losses and wins over the course of the year would be an astronomical number that you can't possibly imagine. So I hope that comes out because, it's interesting. Every now and then when I counsel kids, I show them some of my gambling slips. Yeah. I don't get joy out of it. It reminds me of how stupid I was. But sometimes it's interesting because I look back and I don't remember all those trips. I'm like, I did that? I was that stupid? Like, I made one trip just to show you what compulsive gambling looks like real quick, not to go off on a tangent, where, I lived in New York City, and I used to have to get up like 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work to host the #1 rated sports talk show in the country. And none of those people had any idea what I was doing before or after work. And I got in a Sprinter van at midnight in New York City, drove up to the Poconos, about an hour and a half drive, at 3 o'clock in the morning. And on one particular trip, and I'll show you the slip on it, I played blackjack for 7 minutes.
7 minutes?
For 7 minutes at 3 o'clock in the morning.
How much per hand, do you remember?
It was $30,000 a hand.
Wow. Okay.
I won $325,000 in 7 minutes, got back in the Sprinter, drove an hour and a half back to New York City, and hosted the most watched and listened to sports talk show in America at 6 o'clock in the morning, and nobody had any idea.
Wow.
And when I looked at the numbers, and you see to win 325 how much I risked, and the up and down, it's obnoxious. And you want to vomit looking at it, but it's a good reminder of how stupid I was being, which is why to win 1.4 million, he was wagering an obscene amount of money over the course of a lot of appearances in casinos. And it's amazing to me that no one ever noticed. He could have done it from home, obviously, because the advent of gambling on your phone, but it's an absurd amount of money that he was wagering. All right, tonight, we have the two old guys in the NFL going head-to-head. You got Joe Flacco, now the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. He's 40. There they are having some Skyline chili.
Oh, wow. Look at
Which,
it.
by the way, not a big fan of Cincinnati. Love the Skyline chili. Love it. I take it 7 ways, and I can eat it all day, every day.
Producers are hating on it.
Look, Cincinnati's not a great town, which is why most successful people in Cincinnati live in Kentucky. That is a fact, okay?
Yes.
That
They
is
come over
a
the bridge.
fact,
Yep,
right?
they go over the bridge.
If Cincinnati was so great, you wouldn't live in Kentucky. You'd live in Cincinnati. Don't get me off on a tangent. They have great chili. Leave it alone. But how about the fact 2 40-year-old guys are facing off in a young man's game in the NFL? And one of them, Aaron Rodgers, is playing pretty good.
He is.
And if the Steelers just go 500 the rest of the way, they win that division by multiple games. The rest of the division's done. I know we're still all holding out hope. Can the Ravens make a run when Lamar gets back after the bye week? Can the Baltimore Ravens win 5 in a row? Maybe. But it ain't going to be enough to catch the Pittsburgh Steelers.
If they win to that point, they go to 5-1, and everyone else in the division would have 5 losses. So they have 4 games on everybody already.
They wouldn't even have to go 500.
They don't have to go 500.
But if you went 500, assuming they win tonight, they're what, 6-5?
They'd be 5-1.
But they're like
Cincinnati would go down to 2-5.
No, I'm saying they're favored tonight by what?
5.5 points on the road.
Look, there's no expectation for Cincinnati to win this game.
No.
Obviously, any given Sunday. But when the Steelers go to 5-1 after tonight's game, right, they will have 11 games left. If you go 5-6 in those 11 games, you're a 10-7 team.
Yeah.
Every other team in the league right now in the division would already have 5 losses.
Yep.
Right? Meaning over the course of the last 11 games, for any one of those teams to beat you and win the division, they'd have to go 9-2.
Right.
Not
going to
happening.
happen. Not going to happen.
Not even on the table. So legitimately, when the Steelers win tonight, they lock up the division.
Yep.
They lock it up.
AFC North is done.
Yes. The only thing left to talk about in that division is, does the return of Lamar Jackson give Baltimore a chance to go on a run to get in as a wild card?
Right.
And if they do, I would say this. They would be like Kansas City was a couple years ago when they had to go to Buffalo and Baltimore to get to the Super Bowl. they would be the most dangerous wild card team in the playoffs. They would be the team that you would not want to face week 1 at home against them.
Absolutely.
Because that would mean that they played great football over the course of 2.5 months, beat a bunch of teams to get into the wild card, and that would be the team that would go in hotter than everybody else, and a team you wouldn't want to face because it would mean they're healthy. It would mean that Derrick Henry's doing great and Lamar Jackson's doing great.
Yeah.
So they're not there yet. They're a long way away. And we got to go 2 more weeks to get past the bye week. But tonight, we get football back. You also have 2 more baseball playoff games. And we'll talk about all of it tomorrow on the show. Thank you so much for watching The Craig Carton Show. We damn ran out of time.